Welcome all our online guests. Hello, ni hao, ciao, buenos dias, annyeonghaseyo, salam alaikum. We are live streaming from the fair to all countries in the world. We're here on 10,000 square meters with more than 270 exhibitors from more than 20 countries. So we are a definitely international fair. Also, all our videos that we produce, you can access on the YouTube channel of the fair. Just scan the QR code later on. Well, I don't want to keep you more thrilled, and I'm also excited to talk about Currento. And we'll hear what Currento is. It's a PTL for electrolyzers, but we'll hear much more on the technology from Mr. Hendrik Geysen, the Business Development Manager Hydrogen at Bekaert. Give him a warm welcome, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Hendrik. So, it's lovely to have you here on stage. So for those in the audience that don't know, maybe you can give a brief introduction what Bekaert does or who Bekaert is.
Yeah, so Bekaert's a company founded in Belgium, 1881, so quite some time ago. We're a metal wire producer with a whole variety of products. We started off with making barbed wire products and have grown basically in all different kinds of wire products, metal wire products. This ranges from cables used for ski lifts and bridges, very, very thick, strong products, all the way down to products that have only just a couple of micrometers diameter fibers. In between, we have products, rubber reinforcement, metal products. We have products, for instance, that you might recognize to keep the cork of a champagne bottle in place. These metal wires we're producing. That's, of course, a whole range of products that are not really related to hydrogen.
So basically, you are saying more than 100 years of experience, and also in all applications fields, we kind of meet Bekaert on a daily basis, wherever we look, wherever we go, right? But so far, you mentioned metal, but we are here to talk about hydrogen, so I'm curious how Bekaert is contributing to the hydrogen industry.
Right, so next to this business that we have with our 30,000 FTEs, we have a business on hydrogen. In this range, we're working with about 50 people now. This was 5 years ago, this was only 3-4 people.
Not bad.
And we produce porous structures from metal fibers, which are used as a porous transport layer, also called a PTL, in electrolyzers, mostly in PEM electrolyzers on the anode side. These components, these are used to support the PEM exchange membrane, and it's positioned between the membrane and the bipolar plate. So in every cell of an electrolyzer stack, you have components like these.
Let's break this down just a little bit. So electrolyzer, we use electrolyzers to produce hydrogen, preferably green hydrogen. So not going too much into the details, but there is a component that we need in an electrolyzer, which is a PTL.
Exactly.
Okay, so you need to explain again a little bit more detail why your PTL is necessary in the electrolyzers.
So in an electrolyzer, we're splitting water in hydrogen and oxygen. And in order to do so, you need to transport water onto a membrane where there's catalysts, and the catalyst under a voltage will split the water in hydrogen and oxygen, and it's the hydrogen that we will use as an energy carrier or a material provider to make ammonia for fertilizers, to burn it in combustion engines and so on, right? What the PTL does is transport this water onto the membrane in an optimum way, spread it out, and the moment this water is split, it will remove the other gases that are generated, hydrogen, oxygen, but also the electrons that need to be transported. So it is an open porous structure, a little bit like a fabric, but made out of fibers because it needs to be electrically conductive.
So this is also where your expertise comes in. So how long have you been working on the PTLs?
You mean Bekaert, or you mean my personally?
The Bekaert, of course, but you can also mention your personal contribution.
Yeah, Bekaert has been working on this already from the beginning of 2000. We've had products. We had products that are quite similar in filtration and basically cross these over for electrolyzers. Our filtration products are steel products typically. But for PEM electrolyzers, we're producing titanium products. These are optimal for the corrosion and the voltages that go around in electrolyzers. And we have grown from supplying sample quantities to R&D institutes back in 2000, 2005, to now supplying the big PEM OEM electrolyzer manufacturers here on the exhibition.
Oh, wonderful. So can you tell us more about your customers?
Well, this industry is quite secretive, so I can't go and tell around which one of the companies that are here.
I tried for you, I tried.
But quite a few of them are using our products. They're quite happy with the physical properties and so on that it have. So we're scaling, but we have customers ranging from these institutes still. We believe it's very important, basically for people that do PhDs and institutes that are developing the next generations of products, all the way to, let's say, the big OEM producers that are doing gigawatts of electrolyzing capacity in the next few years.
You just mentioned the keyword. I'm curious. So this industry is growing, and this year particularly, and I also feel like because we have pressure due to our, let's say, European situation, so the industry is pressurized to produce alternative methods on energy. And so hydrogen has gained lots of attention throughout the last year, but particularly at this fair, you can feel a change. So I'm curious, is Bekaert ready for scalability, and how will it be ready for the huge market demand?
Yeah, we are scaling since the last 2 years quite aggressively already. So in the range of doubling capacity year by year. We've done so from our first plant in Japan, which was a prototype plant, by investing in a second location in China. These two plants together are the ones we have today, and they have an equivalent surface capacity equivalent to approximately 1.5 gigawatts. Our CEO, so our company CEO, has published an announcement on Monday this week about our Belgian plant that we're building. This will add another gigawatt to that. This should be ready at the beginning of next year. But of course, we have longer-term plans than that. We are at this point planning at early stages a facility somewhere in Europe. We can't disclose yet where this will be. This will be a 5-gigawatt plant with the capability to expand to 10. This is basically what we're seeing in the next couple of years as expansion plans. But on the longer term than that, by the end of the decade, seeing the localization trend that you see in the world, we believe we need to be present with manufacturing capabilities on every continent that has a big electrolyzer manufacturing drive. Yeah.
So this is how you will contribute to have your production line worldwide. So this is also contributing to decarbonization in terms of logistics. So this is wonderful.
Exactly. Our customers are not only asking a good product for a good price, they want to know the carbon footprint of the product we make. So how to select the location that we will produce in depends on the readily availability of green energy, but also the proximity, of course, of this plant to the plant where this component will be assembled into an electrolyzer stack. It doesn't make any sense to produce in one location in the world and supply the world from that area anymore. That's often not adding up if you look at the carbon footprint of the transport to the customer site.
Yeah, for sure. If there's any question from the audience, just let me know, raise your hand, and I will come down to you. I have plenty of questions. So this is more, how can I put this question? So you mentioned that you are ready for scalability, and I see that the market demand is there. I personally see that there's a problem since the market is growing so fast and the technology is, let's say, rather young. I have the feeling that there are not enough skilled workers, so I'm curious how you deal with that.
Yeah, so we're looking for some people to scale this technology. Of course, we're also looking for people to develop new products and so on. And I think scaling is one thing, but the products we've developed with our customers at this point are also not ready for, let's say, the needs in 10 and 20 years. So it's a bit scaling on one hand, but also developing new products on the other. And there are challenges to find people, but for the right challenge, a lot of people are willing to join the team and work with us.
And you're also doing knowledge transfer, right? Learning from each other.
Yeah, exactly. We have a team with a lot of different backgrounds, and that's what you need to combine: metal knowledge, coating knowledges, electrolyzer knowledge, electrochemistry. So we have a very interesting team with different kind of backgrounds.
I want to know more about challenges. I love to ask about the challenges because that's what you want to know, right? So, what are the challenges with developing and PEM electrolyzers?
Yeah. So PEM electrolyzers today, they're evolving, right? There are next generations coming up. Our current PTL offering is we make a porous structure, we coat it, and we trim it to size. This is quite efficient, but PEM electrolyzers still need to evolve, and our PTLs play a role in this. The challenges that we see in PEM electrolyzers, they consume a lot of iridium as a catalyst. This needs to be reduced. There is a limited amount of iridium in the world, which is only a couple of tons. If we want to scale to double-digit gigawatt quantities, we need to be more efficient with those. There's other challenges. Our customers, they want to operate their stacks longer, want to use thinner membranes to increase the efficiency of their electrolyzer stack. They want to operate their electrolyzer stack at a higher pressure, and all these things add up to, let's say, challenging environments for PTLs, and we believe that there's still room for improvement. And because of this, we've not only invested in capacities to produce more PTLs worldwide, but we've also invested in Belgium, and that was a second part of the announcement made by our CEO on Monday, that we're opening up a competence center to co-develop with our customers, but also component suppliers, institutes, to develop the next generations of PTLs.
Tell us more about the competence center.
Yes, this competence center is a location where we will do electrochemical tests, mechanical tests, and so on. The biggest goal there is to make sure that every PTL we sell is fine-tuned to the application of the customer, where the contact with the membrane, where this iridium catalyst is used, is optimized. So we're working on the next generation of products to enable a reduced amount of iridium and so on. And it's these kind of topics that we're doing just to make sure that in the end, the total cost of hydrogen can be reduced. And it's not just about making a cheaper PTL, it's about making a product where in an overall ecosystem, we can have a lower impact on the climate and a better price for the hydrogen kilo.
Yeah, and I like that you point that out, because I think oftentimes you talk about the ecology and efficiency, but at the end, I wish it was different, but at the end, costs are a factor that are always taking into consideration for making decisions. Yeah, I do have one more detailed questions regarding the which electrolyzers, well, they are alkaline electrolyzers, PEM, and then also AEM. Which type of electrolyzers are you able to support with your PTL component?
Yeah, so currently the bulk of what we do are titanium PTLs, which are used on the anode side, mostly of a PEM electrolyzer. But we see now a new kid on the block, AEM, anion exchange membrane. They have a different kind of membrane technology. I'm not an electrochemist, so feel free to come to our booth later to speak more in detail on these topics. But in an AEM electrolyzer, this potentially can solve a lot of the challenges that PEM have. And for these applications, we have nickel PTL products and stainless steel PTL products. And these are benefiting from the same developments we're doing on titanium. Our production equipment or our testing know-how we're building up, product know-how is compatible in all of these three materials.
So you see that Hendrik is very knowledgeable and passionate to talk about PTLs. I would like to know, well, from the hydrogen perspective, how do you see the future development of Bekaert?
Well, Bekaert is going strong in hydrogen, or in this component, this PTL component. We find it very important. So Bekaert is allocating the necessary capacities internally, but also the necessary funds to take the steps. Our customers are driving us in that direction as well. But we believe this is the start of a beautiful story. I don't have a crystal ball to know where it's going to end, but for sure we've convinced our board and our investors that this is the right path, that our products need to be compatible with green energy and so on.
Yes. And are there any questions from the audience at this time? Yeah, so this is after lunch, so this is usually the case. So don't worry, also if you're too shy, you can always go directly to the booth. Hendrik, it was lovely to have you here. Will I see you here next year?
Yes, I've been coming, I think, for a year or five already, or the five, six times. There were some corona cases where the booth sadly couldn't take place. I will be here for sure on next edition.
And this is wonderful to see the business growing, and I think one day we will have the whole hall 13 packed, maybe already next year. But I wish you a successful fair, but I also wish you successful context and great ideas, collaboration after the fair.
Thank you very much, Mona.
Thank you so much.